Hi all, welcome back to the very next post of the ASER 2022 report by Pratham NGO. So the annual status of education report in India as brought out after a gap of 4 years, and in my previous post I have told you about the positive outcomes of the report. In this post I will be spelling out the negative findings of the education status in India with regard to learning outcomes during the pandemic period. So the last report was brought out in 2018, and this is after a gap of 4 years, and it studied specifically in rural India the impact of the pandemic on the learning outcomes. So especially in the rural India, it studied the impact of the pandemic on the learning outcomes. In the previous post, I posted you about the positive findings, and let's see about the negative findings about this report. So what does the ASER 2002 says about the learning outcomes and the pandemic impact on the education system in India? So the very first point is that COVID increased the students' dependency on private tuitions. Now, almost 40% of children in India are taking paid private tuition classes as per the ASER 2021 report, and the largest increase in the proportion of the children taking the tuition are seen among the children of the most disadvantaged families. So we can know about this that the parents are not very well versed to provide the assistance to their children to study at home. And we also know something that there was online classes, and so maybe because of this the students had to take recourse to tuitions apart from listening to the online classes. The second very important finding is that the pandemic year interrupted the improvement in the basic reading and maths, which was actually achieved from 2014 to 18. So there was a gradual improvement seen in both basic reading and maths, but now this was interrupted because of the pandemic impact, and so we have been lagging behind with regard to the basic reading and maths level. Point number 3 is that the enrollment of the students in tuition classes see an upside in most states. So between 2018 and 2022, the ASER says that there is an increase in the proportion of children who attended tuition classes, with exceptions of states such as Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Tripura, where the increase was not so much. That is the dependency on the tuitions. Point number 4 is there is a wide variation across the states with regard to learning outcomes, and the pandemic worsened the situation with regard to learning outcomes. We should remember ASER is a report on the learning outcomes of the education system. So the pandemic has worsened the situation, and the extent of the decline in math level between 2018 and 2022 also varies. Only 20% of grade 3 students in Tamil Nadu were able to do basic subtractions, while this percentage was over 50% in Manipur. So Manipur fared really well and is also highest among the states in the survey, where the students of grade 3 could do some basic mathematics. Now, point number 5 is that there is a drop in reading levels for the class 5 students. Only 38.5% of the students who were surveyed in the government schools can read at least grade 2 level in the rural areas, it states. And point number 6 is that girls are faring better in reading skills while the boys fare better in maths. So in the reading and arithmetic levels of boys and girls in grade 5 and grade 8, the girls perform better in reading skills while the boys perform better in arithmetic. Point number 7 is that there is a dip in the reading and maths abilities of the students. So from 6.7% in 2018 to 2.2% in 2022, there has been a significant decline in the learning and the reading abilities of class 2 students especially. So these are the tiny toddlers, and they might have found it really difficult to follow the online classes. That's what I can understand from this report. Yeah. And point number 8 is that ASER brings out to the fore a national math problem. Now it mentioned that there is a national math problem, the report says, which talks about how after the pandemic, students in class 5 found it very difficult to solve basic math problems. And what I have understood is because of their staying back at home, not much of backup and performance, surveillance by the teachers with regard to maths, etc., and finding it difficult also to focus on their studies This level of basic math problem might have really increased because of the lockdown and them staying at home, and also lack of teachers at home and the learning environment which we have in the schools. Point number 9, Maharashtra sees a decline in maths and reading skills of the children. According to the ASER 2022, Maharashtra saw a decline from 2018 to 2022 in the students' reading and arithmetic skills. While schools having usable computers have seen a drop, there is a jump in the households having mobile phones, which are smartphones with internet facilities, and this shows that now people are slowly getting used to online classes at home, and therefore maybe that is why the schools have not focused much on computer systems in the school itself. Point number 10 is that the ASER report writes about Punjab. It says that Punjab performed better than the national average in number of indicators, but it saw a decline in its own performance as well instead. So just 33% of the class 3 students tested in Punjab can read basic class level 2 text, and which is just 6% lesser in 2018, but higher than the national average. So on the national average, 20% of the class 3 students can actually read only a class 2 level text. So we see a decline in the performance of basic reading. And point number 11 is that there is a decline in the maths knowledge among the government schools in Maharashtra. So in 2022, a steep decline in arithmetic knowledge, and only 18.5% of the class 3 students can do subtraction, 20.1% of class 5 and 38% of class 8 can do division. So very less percentages, like 18 in class 3, 20 in class 5 and 38 in class 8 can do basic arithmetic. So we can see a decline in the learning abilities in maths, and this may be again because of them staying at home. If I want to really sum up the negative findings, I will say that there has been a decline in maths knowledge. There is increase in dependency on tuitions, there is decline in reading ability, and also the pandemic interrupted the improvement in the basic reading and maths, which was actually gradually increasing from 2014 to 2018. So this is a step backward. So these are some of the findings of the ASER 2022 on the negative side, which they have found out. What this can help you is actually analyzing the education system, but please keep in mind this is not the status of the education for the whole of the country. It's just the status of the education where they have surveyed this, that's the rural areas. And also these few highlights will help you to analyze how the education has been impacted by the pandemic level. And let's see, as we have the budget coming up, what steps the government is going to take with this regard. But I'm sure there is no need to remember all the percentages with regard to every finding. What you need to really remember is the positive findings and the negative, and if you're able to summarize it in your answer, then that's really good. I shall see you in my next post, and until then, it's happy learning. But don't forget to share, subscribe, comment, and let me know whether this is really helpful to you all. Until then, again, happy learning.